areas under Naxal controls, the development is not happening, whereas the areas under government control, development is happening. So they don't want people to discuss. Where people just don't know that Raipur, the state capital, exists, that the Delhi exists. They just know the jungles, the people in that village, and maybe a little bit in the surrounding areas. They might be getting funds from the contractors, from the businessmen who are doing business in this area.
Now, generally, the public perception, as you rightly said in the beginning, also, whenever there is a lack of development, there is a Naxalism, unemployment, then they go and all. But whatever you are saying, no, they don't want development in some areas. Then what they want actually?
So initially, maybe as I said that they were for development, they wanted to remove exploitation, etc., etc. But 2004, I think you will be also knowing there was a Salwa Judum also which happened in Bastar area. So when I tried to find out why this happened and what was the reason, one of the important reason that I found out was that the Naxalite wanted to stop hard bazaars. The Hart Bazaar is the heart and soul of tribals because they come here for their economic activity, especially buying and selling of their vegetables or produce also. But this is the area, this is the day when they meet their family members, their friends, relatives also. And it is also their source of entertainment also. So when it was taught by Naxalite telling that because they don't want congregation of people, because if more people join together, then they may discuss about the developments happening in other places, and which they instigate the tribals also. So because in many of the areas under Naxal controls, the development is not happening, whereas the areas under government control, development is happening. So they don't want people to discuss. Second instance, or for example, when we wanted to start Narega work in these areas, again in certain villages, the work was not allowed to start. When I went to find out the reason for it, they used to say that more than 5 people will not allow them to work in one area. So if you want to construct a pond, so it is not possible to construct a pond with just 5 people working. And another example is that, as I said, that I have seen 2-3 sarpanchas with whom I have worked, and they were very good at developmental activities for the villages, just killed because they did excellent developmental activities in spite of them telling them not to do.
But people also will understand Naxals are only stopping development. Nah?
You see, actually, this area is very different from the entire rest of the country. There are certain areas where people just don't know that Raipur, the state capital, exists, that the Delhi exists. They just know the jungles, the people in that village, and maybe a little bit in the surrounding areas. So there, if the Naxalite come and said that, see, you are like this, if you support me, I'll give you moon or something, then they will believe him because they don't have telephone, they don't have TV connection, they don't have any interaction with the outside world. So they just don't know what exists outside their village. So they just believe whatever is being told by the Naxalite. But whereas we used to do a model called as growth model. So what we used to do is we used to identify bigger villages bordering the areas where we are able to easily move, and those areas where movement is restricted because of their presence. So we used to develop these Gram Panchayat and show it as a model Gram Panchayat. So seeing this developmental activity happening in this side, then the nearest Gram Panchayat on the other side, then they slowly they'll come up to us and say that, sir, like the other village, please do something for my village also. So by this method only we are able to penetrate into the inside area. So this clearly shows that the people have been misguided, that government is not doing anything for us, and they don't allow any developmental activities to happen just because to keep them under control so that they can run the show. But now as connectivity improves, people are getting aware of what is happening in the outside world, and they have started demanding for better developmental activities in their areas also.
Now, why? See, Naxalism cannot exist if local people do not support, because they want the at least the basic rations like rice or wheat or whatever vegetable, they can get it from the local village only. So why people support them? Is it just because of threat alone?
No, initially, as I said that there were lots of maybe expectation, not no, maybe 30 years, 40 years down the line. So in Chhattisgarh, the biggest exploiters as per the local people are the Patwaris and the forest guards. Patwaris is the lowest revenue staff and forest guard is the lowest forest staff. So they are the face of the government to the people. So Patwari controls land revenue and land rights, and Forest Guard controls the forest rights and the related issues. So these two people were the biggest exploiters. So when initially the Naxalites came, so they used to call these two people and beat them in front of all the villages. So when exploiter like the Patwari or the guard was beaten up by the Naxalite, the Naxalite became a hero and the people started supporting them. But over the period of time, once the Naxalite established their base there, then because Chhattisgarh area, especially the Bastar, provides the best location for them for their security angle, because it is one of the densest jungle. The terrain is highly undulating with many hillocks. There is no population and there was no police force pre 2000 era. So this provided the best hiding place for them to establish their bases. So right now what happened is that people know that what government is doing and what Naxalites are doing and what they are not doing. But right now they cannot leave Naxalites because they control them by the gun power or their muscle power. So if anyone talks against them, either they will be beaten up or they will be killed. So now because of the pressure from the Naxalites, especially at the gunpoint, they are supporting them. Though initially people voluntarily supported them with because they were seen as fighters against exploiters.
Now, somewhere I heard that Naxals provide instant justice. They hold a court-like thing. Is it true?
Yeah, that's true. So, but they generally call the local villages, one or two, three villages in that area, and they call some person, and they'll give some verdict, and generally the verdict ends with the killing of that person. But generally, this is against not the exploiters, but generally whom the Naxalites want to eliminate, either thinking that they are informers or some contract between these two people failed or something like that.
Now, in Andhra Pradesh area and all, they say lot of women, girls, they also join Naxal force. Is it true in case of Chhattisgarh also?
Yes, even in Chhattisgarh, we have seen many women as Naxalites who have been either captured or surrendered or killed also. Mainly because there is not much job opportunities or livelihood opportunities available in this area. And second is that the Naxalites are also not getting sufficient manpower. So they are also forcefully recruiting the young people so that they also have sufficient manpower to fight.
Now, how they pay those Naxal means, or as a Naxalism as a whole, how they survive? They need funds for their survival. Where they get funds from?
This I can't have any official version of it. I also, like any common public, can say that they might be getting funds from the contractors, from the businessmen who are doing business in this area, and from other sources outside. Otherwise, we don't have any formal mechanism to know this, but yes, definitely we have heard that the contractors, the Chendupatta contractors, the road contractors, and anyone who wants to do any business in that area has to take care of these people.
Now, whether they'll be involved in, say, killing forest animals and exporting, or say tusks of elephants, means whether they violate forest laws also.
So far, I have never heard of any violation of forest, especially killing of wild animals or doing any trade out of it. Generally, they don't do anything like that.